Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
No Jack, no Nico, no problem, right, guys?
That's it. Ready to go.
Pulled together as a team. That was a nice win.
It was. We are the Uncle Puckers, Chris, Dan, Bob, and Tony. What's up, boys?
How rare is it that all four of us are together on the same show on a weekday?
A weekday,
It is weird. It is.
It's like a...
You know what else is weird? I've heard that intro like 100 times. I didn't realize that Doc Emmerich kept going in the background calling Marty's goal.
Yeah.
just kind of heard Danica the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the whole...
I need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because that was it by itself at first, and then we just put the Danica over that. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that was a...
Me and Chris are in full football gear. We were saying earlier, we're like, it's how we're happy cadets this week.
It was a nice Sunday, right? We got a Raider win. I got a Viking win. We got a Devil win. It was a good Sunday all the way around. Your Raiders looked like they were really not going to be anyone's,
bitch
doormat anymore. Yeah, exactly. They looked good.
Aiden O'Connell looked good for no turnovers this time. Max Crosby is like, I swear he's better every game I see him. He is like a fucking beast.
Yeah, if you get somebody else on the other side of him, that defense can be really dirty. And I just think Jacobs needs to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, he had 98 yards, but he was, we used Renfro again, so everybody was getting the ball. It was like a whole different team, and I know it's only the coach, but what a difference vibe-wise, and Mark Davis cut his hair.
And you're playing against a team that literally had no quarterback.
How about that DeVito though? Did he make a mistake when he put his hand on Crosby's neck and pick himself up?
Have you seen him play? Like, he's terrible. Like this. Like, if you go back to the game, I think the Jet game, right, when he got put in after Tyrod got taken to the hospital, and he got put in for Taylor, they wouldn't even let him throw the ball. Dayball was just calling run. They wouldn't even let him throw the fucking ball. Like, that's just terrible. And then, Daniel Jones comes back this week, right? Blows out his ACL, so he's gone for at least a year. There's so many of these injuries.
But I watched your game, man. I watched the Vikings. That was actually the 1 o'clock game, which was the 8 o'clock game here. But I watched your guys, and I tell you, man, Dobbs, I was really impressed with that game. I mean, I couldn't believe, basically, when they won that game, I wasn't totally surprised because I started watching him play, like I was telling you earlier, like when he ran the touchdown in, and when he made that first down at the end of that game, just really impressive for a guy that doesn't even know his teammates.
Doesn't even know the teammates. Sitting on the sidelines with your center taking snaps so the O-line can learn your cadence. Like, this is – and they didn't even commit one offsides, not one line penalty, he managed to get him – I mean, I give a ton of credit to – Garrett Bradbury, our center, because he was the one basically that pulled them all together. But, he's a smart guy. You got a really smart offensive coach. I'm really curious to see how he does this week with a full week of practice with these guys. And then Justin Jefferson coming back in a couple of weeks. I don't want to say it, but watch out for the Vikings.
We got some hope. That's how it goes in football. It's week to week.
What? If they end up going far, like we talked about the other day when we were talking about Jonathan Taves, like, in the possibility, which is never going to happen. But like you said, like, it's always crazy how you see these teams, they make a championship run and you always have some players on there that in the beginning of the year, like if Minnesota ends up making a run and doing something in the NFC, like, dude, this guy was starting for a different team in week 1. Like, you had like your quarterback is Josh Dobbs. Nobody thought Josh Dobbs was going to be quarterbacking any team, let alone what he did. But, he might come out this week and throw 4 interceptions and play like shit. So we'll see how it goes.
NFL for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan and Bobby have left the show. They have walked
so
off.
that's why we're going to get into hockey.
Enjoy that. There's a lot of crossover there. There's plenty of hockey fans or football fans. Not too many aren't, but in that camp kind of. I don't really watch too much.
They did say today they think that it's used his shoulder, huh? That's what
it's a shoulder.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was like leaning towards head injury. I don't know, what's worse, but it sounds like they said what did they say? It wasn't re-aggravating an old injury, which is good to hear.
Yeah, the one that I guess that he suffered in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they were saying. That didn't re-aggravate that.
But we're looking at a timeline of maybe a month at most, so maybe a little longer than I was hoping. I'm sure most Devils fans were hoping, but I guess it was accurate when they put out that it's not the worst case scenario statement.
Right.
It's still a bad case scenario, though.
It's like 10 games estimate in that month.
That's kind of what I figured. Yeah,
I'm going to lose
a lot of games.
My prediction bet. I bet Jack would be back, and it doesn't look like that's not going to happen. People are talking about maybe if he can make it in 2 weeks before that Devils Rangers game. So they're going to see. Now, I think you guys might have heard it. I didn't. I just read a little recap of Fitzgerald's statement where he kind of said Nico is on his own personal timeline. Like he's getting better. He's got like clearance, but they want to make sure he feels right. So it sounds like Nico's coming back sooner. They didn't put a number on it, but what did you guys make of that?
Well, I think I got exactly what you got out of that he's cleared, and he's not going to be there tonight for the game against the Avalanche, but maybe Friday against Washington. I mean, that would be a huge boost. Right. And I don't know what's going on with Tomas Nosek. Is he anybody have any information on him?
No, I just know he's out.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
You just got to tread water right now. You got to tread water until your team gets healthy again. We got a lot of guys on this team. I mean, they looked good against, like you said, it was a good team win. We'll get into a little bit of that Blackhawk game. We'll go over a little bit of the scoring summary and talk about that. So, Sunday.
I might be mistaken, but I think just to wrap up the injury thing, I think they had Fitzgerald saying that he believed that Nosek and Miller would be in the lineup sooner than Jack. So, whatever timeline that is, it's much shorter. It looks like.
Well, if they can keep their head above water for however long until Jack gets back, and they have Nico back and Nosek back and Miller in this lineup, I mean, we can be in good shape once he gets back.
I'm not even overly worried about it because I do believe they're going to keep their head above water, and I think worst case scenario if it's 10 plus games, maybe. What we talked about over the summer, if there's this crazy points race at the end, in the 113 to 112 thing, maybe we're not in that anymore because of the 10 games. But then again, there's nobody really blowing it away, at least not from the Carolina standpoint. I mean, the Rangers have put up some good points, but it's not like, it doesn't even really matter, right? At this point, I don't even care about the first place. I want Jack healthy, continue to have the good year and just roll into the playoffs.
I saw some power rankings today, actually, from the NHL Network, and the top 5 was Vegas at 1, Boston at 2nd. And the Rangers 3rd, the Kings 4th, and Stars 5th.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that. Vegas is playing great. Boston's playing great. And Jeremy Swayman's 6-0-0 now.
How surprising is Boston?
Would have been nice to make a move on him.
It's very surprising. Anybody listening now, don't go back to the summer tapes.
Exactly.
They Boston ain't even fucking making it, man.
I said it. I was the one, man. I was the one that said I don't even think that these guys are going to make the playoffs with the lack of center depth that they have. And, man, they proved me wrong.
Yeah, but, we all even said at least a legitimate drop-off. 10, 15, 20 points. And at this point, it's looking like that's not even going to happen, which is crazy.
Ridiculous.
Another thing I heard Fitzgerald say recently, which I was, like, oh, yeah, we've kind of been saying this, is that he doesn't think this team's, given its best game. He was, they didn't use those exact words, but basically said we're working on being more consistent and, following through with games. And the article that was citing his thing brought up that they were, I think, 8th from the bottom in goals against, which we kind of had a feeling they're letting way too many goals in. And we know that certain players haven't fully, hit the mark. So I'm looking at this.
What the hell are you doing over there?
I'm plugging my laptop. Sorry, guys.
Look at his laptop and demon screen.
I just realized it wasn't plugged in.
Okay. So, I think it's very possible that it might be a little crazy to say it, but I think there's a silver lining to Jack being out and Jack and Nico being out, is they did play a better game team-wise, and some guys who've been really quiet, like Mercer, they looked pretty damn good in that game. So if it's the beginning of those guys coming online, that's really good. And not only will they keep their head above water, they might, when a team like regains health, be way better than before they lost health,
Plus,
totally.
we're getting to see some kids early too. Like, but I have to admit, Max Willem, I was impressed with him the other night. I mean, he made a difference
for a better first outing. He looked great. Scored a goal. Didn't make any big mistakes. He was fantastic.
I completely agree. And let's go over the Blackhawk game. So, but real quick, jump just to piggyback what you said. If they can use this time without Jack to really focus on their defense and team defense, and they get that element of their game and get those goals against down for the team a lot and start playing much more responsibly that way. And then when you add Jack back into this lineup and Hughes and Heischer back in this lineup and these guys continue to play that way, that's where you want this team to be. I feel like they were really just piggybacking off of Jack the entire, like, I mean, you go back to the
a lot of guys just haven't done their full contribution,
right?
Mercer,
and they
Meyer,
didn't have to. They didn't have to. Now they do.
But now they do. You're right.
And this is not a time, I'm going to say this is not a time for Jesper Brett to pull a disappearing act.
No.
Like, now is the time. Like, dude, you got paid. You've been playing great. Keep it going.
You're going to have to fly the ship for a while.
Yeah.
With Mercer, what did I say? He's going to have 2 points. I can't remember. I was trying to think the other night. I know he said he's going to have a point this week. Was it 2 points I said he had? Was it a goal and an assist, or did I just say 2 points in the next
2 points in 3 games.
Okay.
And he has one. So back to the Blackhawks in Chicago on Sunday night. First period, Devils looked like they were, going to start going down some terrible little black hole there in the first period. It was 151 in, and former Devil and league MVP Taylor Hall, and that's his second. That was from Johnson and Kaiser. Went that way for
no coverage on him.
No, that was a terrible goal. Vanacek had no shot on it. And then 13:07, though, like we said, Dawson Mercer finally gets on the board. He gets his first goal, also on the power play from Haula and Hamilton. And then Tone, like you were just talking, Max Willman at 14:41, an unassisted, just a great defensive play.
Showed some speed, too.
Showed some speed.
Took off got nasty in front of the net a couple times.
That's the thing about Willman's game that I liked that he brought on Sunday. He played with fire, and in turn, that whole line was playing with fire. They were really looked like our toughest line out there. They were taking the body. They weren't taking any shit. It was a bit of a different feel for the Devils so far. And I think Max Willman was that little spark plug that got them going. And that ended up the Devils 2-1 in the first period. Second period, not much to talk about. No goals
except for like a crazy save. Or was that in the first that Vanacek had? That was the save of the game.
That was the second.
Superman dive from his left to his right.
The second period.
He drops the stick on the way, and what a game-changing save. That would have made it 2-2. Whatever the point of the game it happened at, we were up 2-1. And that's a different game if they score, because we know that game stayed close the whole way.
He was impressive all night, Vanacek. I mean, he really made some big saves.
That was fantastic. On his highlight reel, I'll tell you that. That's a career highlight. That was a beautiful save.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go into the third period, 4:35 in. Curtis Lazar, who's getting a little bit of a hot streak going, his second of the year from Marino. That puts the Devs up 3-1 at 15-14. Ryan Donato scores for the Hawks. His third of the year from At the CU and Dickinson. Happy to see you. That put us 2-1, or no, I'm sorry, 2-3 Devils. And then McLeod at 19:59, his third of the year, the unassisted empty net. Devils win 4-2. Chicago, Soderstrom for Chicago. He had 37 saves on 40 shots. And we talked about Vitek, 2 goals on 34 shots. Vitek Vanacek looked really good in that game. You guys expect him to get the start tonight against Colorado?
Yes.
We do, yes.
I would hope so. I mean,
Chris, I would like to know the numbers of McLeod. How many goals in his career compared to empty net goals? Because, I mean, I think he has at least 7 empty net goals. McLeod, he always seems to be putting
does
in.
Tend to get a lot.
Yeah.
It makes sense because he's a tenacious player to be on a checking line against the opposition's,
top line,
last-ditch effort to score. They usually put their best scorers out, and you're going to need him.
Mm-hmm. Tony's gone.
I guess Tony
doesn't want to talk about that anymore.
All right, yeah, maybe. Okay.
There was just a lot to like in that game, too, in general, because for Mercer's goal, what I really liked about that is that was like an extremely confident goal, right? It wasn't just like, I got a chippy goal or whatever, or maybe got lucky a seeing eye goal. Like, he had to kind of cut through some people there. It just showed a lot of confidence, which is good because his confidence probably should have been shaken, but it didn't look like it at all. So that was like vintage Mercer there.
Took it hard to the net and got the goal.
It's great.
And,
you saw that little opening, skated for it, went for it. The fact that we only let up 2 goals is a great sign. We just talked about Vitek, how well he did he's heating up. And yeah, Lazar. Really like his game. You know,
he's a hell of a player. I love his overall game, but what a beautiful goal on that redirection. That whole play was Marino coming to life. Okay, yep. Marino basically did a give and go and got the puck on, was mostly a breakaway with great save on that shot. But he stays with the play. He finds himself with the puck again. Seconds later, rebound. And he does that shot that he's putting up for deflection. I mean, that was a very purposeful play. You could tell that's exactly what he intended. And Lazar, what a beautiful deflection between his own legs, between the goalie's legs and in. And what a great goal that was. Definitely.
It was one of the best team victories that we've seen the Devils have. They really it felt like they were playing for each other. And okay, you know, we're not. I mean, Timo got robbed again a couple of times. Like this dude is Eric Holla last year, right?
He got robbed by the post though. That one annoyed me. I'm like, come on, Meyer. He had the open net, a beautiful one timer, and I'm not saying that it's an easy shot, but Meyer, bury that. You had a lot of net to shoot at, and you found the post.
Timo will get on the board tonight. I believe that he will get on the board tonight. So you
I'm
guys,
predicting Timo time myself. So. Yeah.
No, I'm not worried about him either, but you know, he's that guy. Where'd you go?
I have no idea what happened. You guys all froze and then I just had to refresh.
Fell through a Lithuanian
gremlin.
Yeah. Well,
every time Tony loses connection, I'm worried that Vlad is running tanks on that country.
I know.
That's the last we'll see of Tony.
You know, we got a message. We were talking about like how to watch these games and everything, and we did get a message from one of our listeners saying that the games that are on TNT are also live on HBO Max. And I did check before, and tonight's game, which is a TNT game and MSG, it's on HBO Max.
I think that needs to be more public knowledge. You can't be the only Devil fans who didn't know that you could find the TNT on Max. I mean, some people that might make a difference. You can catch a few more games.
Do we know if that's like a regional thing for New Jersey?
No, it's not a regional thing. Okay. So you can watch the game on Max tonight.
Great.
If you want to stay up until 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So I won't be watching the game on Max tonight, but that's okay.
I do wonder about that, Chris. You sure that TNT is not broadcasting different games on their on that night they, you know what I mean?
Bobby, do you have Max?
The Devils?
No, I don't. But that's something I can get a la carte, so I would get it if it meant watching
I bet you're
a game
right,
or two.
Chris. I'm just saying they could be running some kind of regional network thing. I just don't know that.
I don't think so, but you know what? You could be right. But let's just – I'm going to hop on Max right now because I saw they had a few games. That's why I was thinking that it wasn't just a regional game because they had –
Are they carrying a few at once, like simultaneously?
No, they were
just one per –
yeah, just showing different games.
You know what? I'm looking at the schedule right now, and it actually does say that. It says TNT and Max.
Yeah, Red Wings and Rangers are on at 7 o'clock on Max, and Devils Avalanche are on 10 o'clock on Max. And then tomorrow, Panthers Capitals, Kings Golden Knights. Yeah, and there's NBA games. So whatever's being televised on TNT is on Max as well.
I'm still calling Max HBO Max. I have not really gotten used to the change with that. And the last place I ever think about for live sports, except for boxing, is HBO.
Yeah, you're right.
They always did have boxing. That was kind of
cool. They did. But yeah, you can find those games now. So that's
it makes
awesome.
It more accessible to the fans because I can get Max for a month for $10 or whatever it is, and get a game or two, as opposed to saying, well, this month I got to buy Hulu basic package to get TNT for $65.
Yeah.
So that really helps out.
Well, let's get a little bit into, even though most people will be listening to this game, listening to the show rather after the game tonight, but let's talk about it. So tonight, Devils at Colorado, like we said, TNT, MSG, and Max. The game's puck drop is at 10:05 from the Pepsi Center in Denver. This is the final game of the Devils road trip. That the Devils right now are 2-1 through the first 3 games, and today will be the 4th game final, and then we head back to Jersey where we play Washington on Friday night. So the last game that Colorado played, they got legitimately spanked by
7-0.
7-0
That was crazy. I was kind of surprised to see they've been sliding their last 5 games.
1-3 over the last 4. So I don't know what their 5th game was, but you're right. They have been sliding.
But they started off so strong, and what a great team they have on paper. I don't know. How do you guys feel about them? Do you think that they're going to be a bigger threat than Chicago? I'm feeling probably yes on that. But
I'm thinking definitely yes. The Devils are going to have to play a really, really good game because I don't know if they're going to be able to outscore Colorado if they let Colorado play their game. I just, look, we don't have Jack and we don't have Nico, and they have, Rantanen and McKinnon.
And not only that, I don't forget the X factor of they have 3 former Devils on that team.
This is true.
And don't you know your former teammates always play better against you? They're looking to score on their former team. So, we got 3 guys who can score or hurt you. At random times, even Graves, he scores now and then. And
Graves is at Pittsburgh.
Right.
But Thomas Tatar was benched for these guys a couple of games ago.
Really?
So
yes.
Yeah, whether or not he is in the lineup, I don't know. But
I wonder if they're going to give him a chance, to do that, pull that old former team magic or something.
I mean, I would, right? I mean, if it was one of our guys, you kind of have to put him in there.
And the biggest threat, of course, would be Miles Wood.
Absolutely.
The thing with
they want to score.
And they draw you in the penalty box, too, this year, Colorado, I was reading. So you really got it. You want to stay out of the box tonight against them. And I would, Miles Wood, like I said, I think with my predictions, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores a goal against us.
Look, this is going to be a game where they're going to have to just buckle down. They're going to have to play really good team defense. And the thing that I liked about the Chicago game, which is little small things that kind of differentiate a really good team like the Devils as opposed to a team like Chicago that's still trying to find their way, is when Chicago made a mistake, the Devils capitalized on it, like Willman's goal. Anytime that there was a mistake, the Devils were on it and they capitalized. That's a good team. Colorado's not going to make a lot of mistakes, so they're going to have to generate offense other ways. This is, who I'm looking for to have a big game, just partially because I know that it's in him and he's just kind of getting himself comfortable in the NHL, but also because I just want to hear them keep on going on about Hughes. I'm going right. Luke Hughes is going to have a big game. He is really shown like so much growth. And if he really, I think, kind of takes those reins and says, I'm going to be the guy to, take this puck into the zone. I'm going to be the guy to lead all the breakouts. I'm going to be the quarterback on the power play to do what I need to do. And he plays the way we've seen him, just not enough. Because like you said, he's still trying to find his way. I think Luke Hughes is dangerous. And I want to see him have a big game tonight. Yeah. I think tonight, Luke Hughes' coming out party. He gets on the board. They're both the brothers. I mean,
Quinn Hughes now I think he's 20 points too, like Jack. That bloodstream. I mean, I think Luke, he had a good game last game, I thought.
Yeah, I thought the whole team played pretty good last game. Even Brendan Smith. I don't want to shit on him, but even he had a good game.
He had a pretty good scoring chance. He didn't score, but it was a good scoring chance.
Is he ever going to score for the Devils?
I'm not looking for him to score. I just want him to shore up defensively.
Wouldn't that be a bitch if he does score and he just starts scoring once in a while? You know how that usually works. Like once you get that goal finally, you start putting a couple.
Why would that be a bitch?
It'd be nice, that, but I mean that's how it goes, though. That's how you notice these guys.
I don't know if that's how it goes for Brendan Smith.
Smith's gonna have like Danico like numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except on the defensive side,
right? No, offensively,
he will not have Danico numbers on that, but. I don't know, man. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully everybody gets to stay up late to watch it because that's the only bad thing about these games is the 10 o'clock start, Eastern time, of course. It's tough to stay up.
I wake up when it starts, actually, so I'll be watching it when
so you're okay. You can watch it in the morning when you're having your coffee. I have to be up at, 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'll still stay up for it.
You think Wood
Do I think there's a fight tonight?
Wood and Ball, maybe? Or
Wood and Ball? Nobody's going to fight Wood. Nobody on that team is going to fight Miles Wood unless he does something just completely.
Yeah, like
they're dragging Vanacek out and tossing him across the ice
with some dust up with like Palat, where that it gets kind of crazy. They're not going to square. He's not going to square up with anybody in the team, but like in a crazy situation, he's the only guy I could see going in to break up a crazy situation like he's been doing, and then finding himself in a fight with Wood. That's the only way it happens. Palat. That's
I saw that the other night. We were at the Chicago game. Palat and. Tyler Johnson, who used to be on the same team. There was a scrum in the front of the net, and I think that was when Wilderman was getting into it. And I saw them looking at each other, and they started laughing.
Plot's not looking to fight. Plot's not looking to fight. Do you think Plot wants to fight?
Johnson. he's laughing because they were teammates, and I'm sure they were like, talking some shit, joking around. But
he's doing a tough thing. He's trying to add grit and toughness to this team. He's not going to try to fight. There's a difference, and there's a lot of guys like that. Rare occasions with a guy like Claude Lemieux fight. He's not looking.
You're right.
He's looking to stand up for his team, and
we don't have.
Well, I mean, we have McLeod will drop the gloves.
Yeah.
Ball will drop the gloves.
Ball would be our best shot at a fighter, but even him, he's not looking to. He's trying to be a more, I don't know, Char-like player.
Right.
If you look at his build and everything, he's going to try to show a lot of skill, get his share of goals, and be a defensive monster. But I don't think he wants to be the fighter. On occasion when called upon, he'll probably do all right.
His ceiling is so high, Kevin Ball. Like he has the potential to be one of the best defensemen in the league in the next few years. He really
puts
does
his
have
game together and starts playing with like really high confidence level without making mistakes, and which is kind of like this positive cycle that can happen. He could be insane. He could be like the talk of the league.
I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think about Connor Bedard so far in his career, his early career so far? Because I've seen him play a couple of games, and there have been flashes, but nothing like when Sidney came in, Crosby came in, when even McDavid came in and stuff. Like, do you think that this dude? Because I've seen him. I think his biggest problem is that the speed of the NHL right now. Like he's getting clobbered. He can't. When he gets his lane, he can make a shot. He can do all that stuff. But like, I feel like once you start taking him physically out of the game, he can't get back into it yet. Do you think that that's something that he'll grow into?
It's so hard to say.
Sure. I kind of attested a little bit to Hughes' first year. I feel like they were very similar in that.
Like that they found themselves on are kind of similar. So. You mentioned Crosby, you mentioned McDavid. Look at their number 2 guy they play with.
Sure.
They're insane. Hughes didn't really have a Malkin or a Draisaitl. So I think that's more of an analogy with Bedard. You're probably right about that because he doesn't have a super talented guy that he's playing with right now too. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I know those guys didn't. They might have looked better without those guys in their early debuts anyway.
They did. And I feel it's fair to be critical of Connor Bedard because of all the fucking hype that came with this dude. You were expected to come in and light this league up. And I, for one, didn't think it was going to happen. And so far it hasn't. But I do like the one thing about Chicago that I heard, that after the loss to the Devils on Sunday, they held a team meeting, players only, and they got together and they basically just started making everybody accountable of what kind of team we want to be, how we want to start winning. That's a super young team there.
Yeah.
Like I know they have some veterans on there, but a really young team that is being held accountable by themselves to each other. And I think that's huge for the growth of a Chicago team.
I think Bedard has that fire. He broke a stick on that empty netter.
He was not happy.
He
doesn't
not
like losing.
I mean, and I get it. That game was pretty close. It's a 1-goal differential till the empty netter. All they got to do is just one goal and tie this game up. And, so I'm glad to see if I'm a Chicago fan that Bedard's in it. He definitely made some beautiful passes. He has really great skills, but he has not taken forward and dominated. We were told he's going to be a little bit more physical than Jack, be more like a McDavid that way. Don't really see that yet, especially so. I don't see him being that kind of dominant, like power forward, just, laying waste to people one way or the other, and not just great hands.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely struggling a little bit this season. I really want to see this kid take off because I didn't watch him a lot when he was, with Regina and stuff. So I really want to see what all the hype's about. Let's see it. I want to see Connor Bedard be what they think Connor Bedard's going to be.
Yeah, I almost get a goal like twice in the first period. He almost scored a few times, but then they kind of figured him out. I think teams have.
Yeah, he was out of the game after that. You barely heard his name.
And I think teams have done that to him.
Yes, especially physically. Once you start hitting him and stuff, I feel like he's completely off his game.
Yeah.
Bob, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say I honestly haven't seen enough of him yet, other than the highlights that are thrown everywhere in our face. So everything in between I haven't really seen, so I was really looking forward to watching him in the Chicago game, and it was like the one game where I just felt like the Devils totally kept him in check, so I didn't get to see what he's capable of doing outside of a few highlights. So, on that, I just got to ask. I mean, I said that Luke Hughes would have more points than him. So Luke was a plus. He was a minus. Does that count? No.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Points are tough.
And you have to wait till Saturday, but no, you're wrong. Now, is Edmonton in trouble?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, what's going on with the Oilers?
Goaltending, I mean, everything.
Mine and Bobby's Stanley Cup winning pick. They have
millions of other people, I'm sure.
They have 4 points.
But if it's in your San Jose, it's a little worse. But
San Jose is just embarrassing what's happening there. That's just embarrassing. They are the worst team I've ever seen in my life.
We should all make a prediction. How many points did San Jose wind up at the end of the year?
At this rate, none. But I will
That's
say,
a good thing to think about by Saturday.
All right, how about this?
Yeah.
20 points over under San Jose for the season.
All right,
That's 10 wins.
I'm going to go 16 under.
So that's the over.
He's taking the under.
I'm taking 16.
I said 20. He's taking the loan 16.
Oh, you're saying 16 wins.
Wow.
Okay, 16.
I got to go over.
Are you saying 16 points, Tone?
16 points, I'm saying.
Yeah, so you're saying under 20.
Yeah,
how about you,
20.
Bobby?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going over 20. They're going to figure it out, at least pull out some wins, yeah.
Yeah, I got to take the over.
You're going to take the over?
This is points, 20 points.
20 points.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, think how easy
have
it is
one
to get.
now.
But I'm throwing a Hail Mary, but they're
82
playing
games.
pretty bad right now. I mean, it's.
I know, but I mean, what's the record, guys? I mean, I can't imagine you can't get 10 wins.
I think
or
Ottawa had
even 9 wins and 2 ties in there. Think about that. You're going to get points for that. Like, come on, guys.
They're 0-10-1, so they have 1 point.
Right.
They're being outscored by 42 non-shootout goals, the worst goal differential through 11 games in NHL history. No, they're not going to stay that terrible. But they are 0-10-1. They've been outscored by 42 goals, the worst goal differential in NHL history. They gave up 10 goals consecutively, back-to-back games. This is the first time it's been done in nearly 60 years. They are on pace to obliterate the league record for worst single-season goal differential, which is held by the expansion Washington Capitals, who won 8 games in the 74-75 season. So, let's see. Sharks coach told reporters after the team's 10-2 loss to Pittsburgh on Saturday that the situation we're in, guys are trying to prove themselves, establish themselves. We all acknowledged that before the season started. So he's basically saying, we knew we were going to suck, and we suck. I think that they are going to, I think the under.
You're taking the under. Okay. Well, just so you know, I just looked this up. The record for lowest points in a season of a minimum 70 game schedule. Okay. So not even 82 necessarily. Is the winner on this is 21 points over 80 games was the Washington Capitals.
Okay,
and
so 74-75. Yep.
Yeah, so that's with fewer games, and they still scored 21 points. So just think about what you're saying. I mean, that would be the record. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but realize that would be the record of all time. All time fewest points ever.
I don't know when we play them the first time, but I really hope that we have a full line out there when we play them.
The first fucking points.
I think we'll score 15 on them. With Jack and the whole team back. That's what I think. I cannot wait to play them.
It's not an NHL team is what you're saying. This is like we're working a lesser AHL team right now.
Yes, I think that if you took the Hershey Bears and put them up against the San Jose Sharks right now, I think that the Bears win.
So you're taking the under as well?
I'm taking the under. So Tony and I are taking
would you
the
like
under,
that
and
for
you two are taking the over.
Got it.
You said something that made me think, like, would you like that as part of maybe an all-star game to take an AHL team, maybe the leading team, and have them play a team from the NHL? Like a little bit of a Mystery Alaska kind of bullshit, but maybe that would be fun. Like, let's face it, the all-star game's kind of dull. Nobody really wants to stick with the former players game very long. I wonder if this would be interesting, at least to kind of bop around and catch pieces of.
I mean, I would definitely like to see any kind of hockey done a little bit differently. I think that would be kind of cool.
So how about maybe a high school team and then all the way down to like a Pee-wee team or something, and just
You
have
know
the
why-
NHL just cream them, just destroy them.
We keep on knocking San Jose down levels until they actually win a game. So they got to play the NHL champion, and then they got to play if they lose, they got to play the ECHL champion.
Right,
and
all the way to
lose,
Bobby's kids team.
Right. So then they're like playing
Your
against
son's going to hurt them bad.
Right.
I wonder how much money
I love it.
I wonder how much you could win picking San Jose. You know, I mean, they've got to be the underdogs.
Picking them to what?
Yeah, what is Vegas doing with San Jose this year?
You know what's going on, Chris. Picking them to win.
Oh, win the cup?
No, if you just pick
a
them
game.
Like
a game.
a random
game.
I wonder
Well, what would DraftKings do?
I wonder what they would do.
Like we want this. Like we want this to happen now.
I will check in a minute on draft, but to bring up DraftKings, you guys know that's big. Yeah, the NFL season's going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up. Where am I? Okay, with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets, and DraftKings is giving a sweetener for every game day this October. Oh wait, it's November. DraftKings needs to send us a new script, but yeah. So tonight, like Colorado's favored by 1.5 goals. I'm not sure if I would take Colorado on that, but the over/under is 6.5 goals. I think if I was going to drop any money on that, I'd probably go the over. I think we're going to get over 6 goals in this game. But you can get in on the game day greatness by just downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours, mother bitch. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Fantastic.
Speaking of Edmonton, they put Jack Campbell on waivers, I guess, like an hour ago.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's kind of big. They just put Jack Campbell on waivers. So, who's their backup? I mean, I guess they're going to go with Stuart Skinner. I don't know.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours ago, I guess it happened. Yeah.
Did you rewrite your thing, Bobby?
I have something to ask you guys.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Do you guys like Madison Square Garden?
Oh, God, no.
No, I don't. I don't like the network, and I don't like the facility.
Yeah, I'm not a big
The
fan
only
either.
MSG I like is in my Chinese food.
Yeah, it's so good for you.
Keeps you going.
How about
In fact,
you?
I could tell you that if urine were a person, MSG would be its armpit. And I don't like to go there. But I will go there.
Wait, hang on.
It's
If
the armpit
urine-
of piss.
If urine was a person,
Golden shot.
piss.
So we have to have a
Piss.
person made of
The
piss.
bucket of piss became a person.
And then
MSG
you want to
would be
know
his
where they're.
armpit.
would be his
Oh,
armpit.
okay.
If a bucket
Okay.
of piss came alive, it was a person.
MSG is
This is
the
quite an
armpit
insult.
of a man made of piss.
Yes.
I love that.
I do
Piss
too.
man.
I love the optics.
So
Okay.
I,
know
so
what
I
I'm gonna
don't like
be,
to go there.
Next Halloween, piss
I
man.
don't like piss man.
Yeah.
With
MSG
smelly
man.
armpits.
I'll just write MSG on my armpit.
There you go.
That'll work.
All right. So yes, the arena stinks.
Yeah, so
We don't like it.
Nobody likes to go there. We don't want to go there.
It was like pissy
Yeah.
armpit.
We will go there when our Devils play, and especially
Billy Joel's leaving
on March
MSG.
11th. This isn't about Billy Joel. We're plugging the Devils.
Even he's leaving MSG, though. This is his last month there.
He's a smart man.
Yeah.
Listen, March 11th
Shithole.
is a day we're calling on thousands of Devils fans to get together and liven up that dingy pit with our best Devils Reds. Let's
Right.
give the Rangers a taste of their own medicine for once. When they come to the Rock, they act like they own the place. Well, we're not going to do that because
We're
no
not gonna act like
self-respecting
that?
Devils fan would want to go and own a piece of that shithole.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
We're
Very true.
I don't want it.
We're just going to
You can
go
keep
to
it.
one road game in a large, awesome, loud group, kick some Rangers ass, and go
Physically?
home.
Oh,
No, metaphorically. The
is this
team.
like Anchorman with the news teams battle? Because I think should we show up like that? Remember
Knock your
Brick?
Raycons off.
Brick had a grenade. I'm not an advocate.
I'm going to get you on your commercial, Dan.
He's gonna knock
Like,
your
Get your
Raycons off
tickets
his fucking head.
for Monday, March 11th. Go Devils. Let's go.
All of my own.
All right, so March 11th, it's a bunch of Devil podcasts, a bunch of Devils content providers. We're all trying to get as many Devil fans as possible to go to the Garden on March 11th during the Devil Ranger game and finally let them know what it feels like when your fucking team your arena is just completely usurped by rival fans. And this time it's going to be us. And we're all going to go March 17th against the Rangers. Right, Bobby?
Awesome.
11th.
March 11th. Okay. I would have gone there the wrong day. That would have been terrible.
I'm going to go back on the 17th just to rub it in.
I love it. So, yeah, that I tell you, if we can pull this off where we get a lot of people showing up, that is going to be a ton of fun to go and do that. That would be awesome to see just a quarter of that place filled with Devil fans. And then hopefully we whoop their ass.
That's right.
Fuckers.
Yep. You know what? I was wondering, would they mind if we did all these together? Because I think it'd be awesome if it was dueling ads. I was going to try to mention the wonderful Raycon product in your commercials because you guys could have used them. Those headphones are amazing, And this time of year, with the holidays coming, it's kind of hectic. I mean, I keep harping about this because this season is so hectic. I'm going to lose my mind. And I'm afraid it's going to be a whole situation where sometimes the holidays are too much for people. They really are.
It's like the highest suicide rate of the year.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's why I need
Number
Raycon.
2 is our post-game show.
And you can hear that post-game show with such clarity that you'll know exactly what Bobby means when you use Raycon because they're so crystal clear. You'll hear all that depressing energy come right to you. But, there's also a great sale going on right now. You guys need to know that you don't have to wait till Black Friday, right? There's Friday for everyone, and it's coming up right now. Black Friday is now. So it's like time traveling. If you take advantage of this sale, you'll get anywhere from 20 to 50% off, somewhere between. Is it 20? Is it 30, 40, 50? You don't know. Is it a wheel you spin? Go on the site and find out. But you're going to get 20 minimum, maximum 50% off site-wide. Exactly, Tony. Exactly. And it's enough that any fool would cheer for that. Absolutely. So, I talk a lot about Raycon so much these days. Some would say too much. But, what I don't tell you enough about is their water filtration. Yeah. I didn't just say.
That sounds crazy.
Those Raycons must be good. He thought your dogs was a laughing ornament.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the water filter.
Well, let's say you have filthy, horrible Lithuanian water. And
Right.
you're a little concerned that it's probably being purposely tainted by Vladimir Putin.
Right. You don't want to end up like a character in the Oblongs.
Exactly. He's been known to poison people. We know this. So you can't go another minute without going to the Raycon.com site and checking out their faucet filter. These are ultra filters that filter the water in your tap against chlorine and heavy metals and probably uranium. I don't know. It's a must-have for ensuring the water you use to wash your face and brush your teeth is actually clean. So to get everybody in the holiday shopping spirit a bit early, Raycon is currently offering 20% off everything on their site with those select products up to 50% off. Hurry now. Buy Raycon.com/THPN to get 20 to 50% off site-wide. That's Raycon.com/THPN to score up to 50% off Raycon's great products. Buy Raycon now at Raycon.com/THPN.
Thank you, Raycon, and thank you, DraftKings.
Is it time for my ad now?
Yes.
No. Yes, go ahead. Do your ad, Tone.
Do your ad.
Guys, do you ever think you can use a couple extra inches? No, I don't really have an ad.
What are you selling, Tony?
But I did want to ask you, do you guys go out for Black Friday? You guys don't go out for that shit, do you?
No. I work.
No. I never did.
Nowhere near it. No.
First of all, I object to people having to work on Friday after Thanksgiving. Everything should be closed.
I know.
And now they make them work on Thanksgiving. So
That's right.
Thanksgiving is one of my, I just love Thanksgiving Day. It has nothing to do with the food, or I mean, it's always nice to get together with my sisters and have
favorite
a meal.
holiday.
But I love just football all day, 3 games, nothing to
That's right.
do. You sit around, have a couple of beers, just watch.
We
the
watched
It's
The
such
Last
a
Waltz.
good.
Put that on. Last Waltz.
Yeah, there you go. There
That's
you
what we
go.
like to do.
R.I.P. Robbie.
Yep.
That was sad. Let me ask you guys, was there ever a celebrity death that actually like moved you, like made you like, because we talk all the time about, when people pass and stuff, but was there ever somebody that you just thought maybe you took it a little bit harder than maybe you thought you would, or no? Just curious.
I know there have been. I can't think of a particular one right now, but
John
for sure,
Ritter.
I know.
I hated when John Ritter died.
John Ritter died?
John Ritter.
John Ritter?
Yeah, I
Like
liked
that.
Ritter.
That bothered you, right?
It
like
bugged
even
me,
at-
because it just bugged me. Yeah, I used to watch the show all the time. And it was still on. It was, it was kind of a bummer because he was just a funny dude.
There are definitely some that were sadder than others.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like I remember like when I was really bummed, and this is weird because like I was always a fan, but not like an uber fan of Tom Petty. But when he died, I was really bummed. Like, hey, he's not supposed to die yet. Like, he's supposed to be around a little bit longer. Like this, I never
realized
put him
you've been taking him for granted, right? You didn't think that it's like, I hate to say it, but if some of the greats who are known to be elderly greats like Dylan or Jagger die, you're going to be you've been thinking about what that's going to be like. I'll tell you, the one that hit me the most was probably Bowie.
I was going to thank you, Bowie, for you.
Yeah. I didn't think that he was going to die. I didn't even hear that he was sick. Now, apparently some people knew. And then you look back at his last album was like, "Goodbye, I'm dying." If you pay attention to the lyrics at all.
Yeah, the video. Remember the music videos?
It's crazy. Even the video he did and everything.
As shit, yeah.
And it kind of is like, it was like a coda to his whole career. He did a lot of like callbacks to Space Oddity shit. But he also, the whole thing was about, that final change, that he was going to make. And he knew exactly, he was sick for a long time. He knew exactly what he was doing. He wrote that album as a goodbye. And not a lot of artists get to do that. I think of Warren Zevon. He got to do that last album knowing he was going to die. So it's kind of interesting the artist gets that chance.
I saw a werewolf. He was drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's.
How was his hair?
Perfect.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah. Like Chris, you mentioned Tom Petty.
Yeah,
I went to go see Tom Petty in Tampa. I don't know if it was how many years ago, but it was a while ago. And I was up in this. My boss had this booth. They had those suites for the shows.
Sure.
And one of the, I'm not going to mention his name, of course, but there was one of the baseball players for the professional team, one of the really the big player on that team, and they were actually going to the playoffs. And he's up there smoking a joint with us. It was pretty crazy, man. I will never mention his name, but everyone's singing.
Why would
Tom
you
Petty
not mention
songs.
his name? Who gives a shit?
Tom Petty it was great though. That's just the vibe there. Everyone was so happy, man. It was just a cool show.
Who do you think the number one of all time is to like shock and gut punch the most people when they pass? I got an idea who it might be. Well, I'm curious.
Oh, okay. You're saying like Future.
Yeah, because like I said, honestly, I'm not saying like the most wonderful artist to ever die. That's going to be, that's different. No, I mean somebody who actually died. Like I don't mean in the future.
Oh, okay.
Like the truth is, if McCartney dies, it's not going to be like you don't see it coming.
Well, I think John Lennon's was probably the biggest. Because not only did he die, he was murdered. Trying to make his comeback and stuff like that, and then he gets fucking shot and killed by some crazy person.
Maybe the biggest solo artist at that time, especially one who was in the world's hugest band just recently, and nobody saw that coming. I can't think of one that would be more
Jesus was
meaningful to the most people. What's that?
So Jesus was a big death, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how good his music was.
I think Lennon, though, Chris is right because they announced it during the football game that night when Lennon died. It was like it was
huge.
Deal.
And all the Christian rock I've heard really sucks his music, to be honest.
Now, Creed blows. Did you listen to the new Rolling Stone album yet?
I haven't given it a chance yet. I saw a bad review on it that I didn't really want to read. I just skimmed.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Cool.
I didn't think it was this great Rolling Stone album, but first of all, for Mick being, what is he, in his 80s now, close to 80
I think
now?
So.
He sounded fucking good. And I know it's a studio and everything, but he sounded good. I liked the hooks. I thought that some of the tunes were really good and catchy, and they were very, I would definitely say one of their better Stone albums of the last 20 years.
That's not a huge bar because nobody's really been wowed by a Stones album in over 20 years.
But if this is their last studio album, but then again, didn't they not make a studio album for like 20 years? So I guess maybe like 40 years then. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, since the 80s, let's say, right? The 80s was like probably one of their last.
I would say maybe 92, 93 when Steel Wheels came out, right?
Okay, yeah,
that might be like one of the last.
That makes sense.
That might be one of the last like big studio albums they had.
Right.
But I dug it. I mean, it wasn't an album I'm going to listen to a lot, but I had to give it a listen. I like the Stones. I had to check them out. I didn't hate it, man. I liked it.
Chris, is there actually, or any of you guys, is there actually a record that you would buy now? Like I think back, like, is there anything that you bought lately that you listened to over? Like, remember when you were a kid, you would buy a record and just listen to it over and over and over again. Do you guys really find any new records that do that to you?
Sometimes that's all I do. When I find a new artist, I'll play it to death, and it's easier now than it was then.
Really, I had trouble with it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like I remember like the last two Pixie albums that came out. I wouldn't stop playing them over and over again. And I get a little obsessive that way for a while, and then like a month or two goes by, and I put it in like normal human rotation instead of just being stuck on an album over and over.
All right, Bobby's got to bounce out of here, so I think we're going to probably just real quick, let's do a quick prediction for tonight. Bobby, go ahead.
I'm changing my tune. I did have them. This is going to be an overtime loss. I think they're going to pull it out. I think it's just kind of a big statement game for the team. They came together real well last game, played good defense. We'll see a little bit more of that, so flat out win. Regulation. Let's change it. Let's go 3-1.
Okay.
We're giving up one goal now.
All right, Tone.
It's a tough one. I think that I don't know what I said last show, but I think we're going to make. I'm going to say 4-3 us.
All right, and Dan.
Okay, I'm going 5-0 win. We haven't had a win like that yet. Wow. I think Vanacek's going to be great. Now, before you think I'm crazy, they've given up a 7-0 and a 4-0 loss in the last few games.
True.
So it's not impossible, but the team's going to have to play at their best for this to happen.
3-2, Luke Hughes in overtime, Devils win. Nice. That's what I'm going with. But yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up early. We're going to be back on Thursday, talk about this game, talk about the upcoming game against Washington, and hopefully we'll have some more, fun little nuggets to discuss. For Bobby, Tony, Dan, I'm Chris. Wherever you're listening to us, please subscribe, like, positive review. Really goes a long way to help us promote the podcast to the 5 or 6 people that listen. So for that, we thank you. We're the Puckers. We'll see you when we see you.
Puck is out.
Peace.
Later.
Election day.
I gotta go vote.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Cool.